Or good morning to some of you in this part of the world. My name is Mazes, okay? Welcome to this late night show, Friday Hangout. It's now early morning program as well. I hope we are all doing well. It has been a very hectic week, and here we are. And I say to you, welcome to NjenjeMedia TV. So let me know where you are joining me from. My name remains Mazi Ezoke, and here you are on NjenjeMedia TV. So let's do quickly a sound check. If you're joining me, please, I want you to do me one single favor. Okay. Okay, so please do me one single favor. I think there is echo. Let's reduce the echo here. So do me one single favor. Let me know where you are joining me from. That is the only thing I need you to do. I need you to tell me where you're joining me from. Are you joining me from Owerri? Are you joining me from Anambra? Are you joining me from Castina? Are you joining me from Lagos? Are you joining me from Kuala Lumpur? Are you joining me from Australia, Germany? Are you in Frankfurt? Then I say, schönen guten Abend. Are you joining me from Paris? Where are you joining me from? I can see that a couple of us are here with me, and I say to you, thank you very much for joining me this evening. My name once more is Mazi Ezoke, and I welcome you to this evening Friday hangout that has now turned to Saturday early morning show. Today, the 23rd of 23rd of January 2026, we have got a couple of packed lineup of hot topics making wave across the country and beyond. Now, let's start. All of you know what has happened in the last couple of days, where our president, through the office of the National NSA, had gone to America to spend $7 million lobbying push in Washington. While they are doing that, fresh bloodshed in the middle belt that got people asking harder questions, angry protest calling for the sack of the FCT minister in Abuja. Yes, on weekend, people are calling that he should be sacked. There is protest in Abuja erupting everywhere. And some positive vibes from Abia State. The governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, affectionately called the painter of Abia, and let him continue to repaint the state image with real development. You understand that some people are not happy, including the former governor of Abia State, that is Oji Ozokalo, popularly known as OUK. Now, as usual, grab your drink, settle in, and let's dive in into something that we believe is going to be an interesting program this evening. And like I said, thank you very much for those of you who are telling. Oh, Paule, guten Abend von Wien. Oh, schönen guten Tag. Ich freue mich. Ich kann wahrscheinlich nächsten Monat oder so, Februar oder März, werde ich dann in Österreich, Wien sein, wahrscheinlich. Dann werde ich euch begrüßen. So Prince Chinedu is joining me from the United Kingdom. Thank you, guys. All you can do is share, like, and subscribe. If you do subscribe while I am on stream, I would have to say a special thank you. Not that every other person that subscribe while I'm not on live stream, but if you do subscribe while I'm live stream, I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to clap for you. See? So, however you want to do it. So let's go. So let's get the. Like I said, the Tinubu government had gone to America to lobby. While they were lobbying in America, something else happened in Nigeria. Now, let me go back to the beginning. The Tinubu $9 million Washington lobby for image management and I will ask, is it about image management or is it about being desperate? First off, the bombshell that got everyone talking, like I said, the Tinubu administration as you all know, reportedly signed a deal worth of $9 million with the US lobby group called DCI, right? A lobby group that is called DCI. Now, this isn't just a pocket change, or as we call it in the street parlance, isn't a chicken change. It's one of the biggest lobbying contracts we have seen from an African government in Washington. And this, for this year as a group, this is the highest lobby contract that they've got. So it's not like it's something, they've been doing. It's something extraordinary for them. Maybe that is why the first salvo that they fired is what they did through um, um, the New York Times, and they wrote an article saying that the screwdriver, my good friend Emeko Mabala, I won't deny him. He's my friend. He's my friend for close to 20 years now, and he's a brother. I had a conversation with him after that. That article came out. Many of you may have read the article. I actually wanted to have an interview with him today. That he wanted to join me, but he's in on it. The internet connection didn't play along, so hence he's not with me here. But once that article came out, I wrote it immediately when I read it. I said, I see where this is coming from. This is our $9 million in is working here. And I immediately wrote a rejoiner. If you go to the community section on NjenjeMedia, you will see my rejoiner taking that piece to shred. Now, because my argument is, if through the $9 million that we have wasted in America, and people actually believe that a man selling screwdrivers in Onitsha, as they called him, is the one that has influenced Donald Trump to come and fight terrorists in Sokoto. If they ever believe that, then that means that the head of military and Nihu Ribadu, the NSA, should hand over to the screwdriver. It means that the screwdriver is more clued on than any of them. Now let's look at this again. From what the filings under the U.S. Foreign Agent Registration Act, as you all know, the deal is handled by, I mentioned it before, by a Kaduna-based law. If my good friend Demeku Gonya also, in one of the videos he made, he clarified that he thinks also that the Kaduna-based law firm would eventually get its own court, and this is where the deal, this is where the crime, this is where the criminality will eventually set in. And what is the goal? To brief US officials on Nigerian effort to protect Christians and Muslims, counter terrorism in West Africa, and keep America support flowing. What do you mean? When we say keep America support flowing, that means for America to keep dashing us money. You know what I mean? It's better to use the word that all of us would understand is to dash us money. Then the question is, why now? This comes right after the President of the United States of America gave a threat of airstrike or even stronger actions over what some of us call Christian genocide in Nigeria. The government, as you all know, is clearly trying to shape the narrative in the Washington, especially a Republican connected with that firm that might have Trump's ear. There are people who can, hear, who can listen. But critics, if you know, when this happened, opposition parties like the Labour Party, the PDP, the ADC, and the ANPP, even some civil society, basically voiced their concerns and slammed the whole thing, and including myself, we called it misplaced priorities. Why Nigeria face this level of hardship? Why should we still, why we are still in this level of insecurity and economic pain? Now, but why is government doing this? And why that is happening, something then happened. And this is something that has to bother every single one of us, especially you watching me now. Now, Nigeria is spending $9 million in the United States of America. But here in Nigeria, the reality on ground, the middle belt continues to bleed. I will show you videos. These videos are going to break your heart. Just this week, you know, the our friend, the pastor in Middle Belt, right? I spoke to him a couple of days ago. Always I also wanted to have him on my program, but he's playing hide and seek with the government now. So the pastor in Plateau, so the pastor in Plateau is playing hide and seek now. Now, but that's not the issue here. It is to be known that something happened that is not an isolated case. Just this week, 7 young minors, 7, some of them as young as 15, were shot dead in Plateau in another overnight attack. Local groups were calling it part of a pattern targeted at the Birom community. I spoke to some of these Middle Belt leaders. Some of the things that they've told me in the last 2 days breaks one's heart. And another isolated report has it a few weeks ago that has shown that dozens of Christians were killed in separate incidents across Kaduna, Benue, and areas, and other areas across the Middle Belt, plus mass abductions, like over 160 worshippers taken from churches in Kaduna. And this calls to question, does it mean that the in America is not working? Now, let me show you the pastor in question, because when he said that he has been conducting burials, the people think and the government blame him that he's not saying the truth. Look at this. Just take a look. Atlanta, USA, Sky Vision. Sky Vision, thank you. Guys, I love you guys. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for making this stream. I know it's a late night one, but let's make this stream engaging one. If you want to join me at any time, please do let me know. I can share the joining link. You can join me. So, but now look at this. While Tinubu is gone to America and he's spending $9 million to tell America that Nigeria is a safe place, more killing is happening in Plateau State. Just take a listen.
Sympathizers and members of the family.
They have earmarked this place for terrorists to take over Plateau. And that's why the terrorists are doing what they are doing. If to say we are to receive help, we are the first vulnerable people to receive help. Because people relocate from the far north to come and attack us here. And the remnants are here. And many that are relocating from the far north, they are coming to the Middle East. And this is what we are passing through. That's why I'm saying I'm not going anywhere. No. I'm staying here with my people. If they will kill us, let us kill them all. Because we cannot just keep quiet. And they don't want the world to know. No. That's why the Nigerian government don't want the world to know what is happening to us in Plateau. They don't want us to make recording. No. We'll record everything. Nobody will stop me from recording what is happening in my heart. Nobody. After all, they say there's no genocide. Why are they afraid of recording? If there's no genocide, let them allow the world to see that there's no genocide.
Benue governor says no genocide. The priest.
And that is why they are working together. It's a synergy of connection to please Islamic people. Because they know how their account is being full by money sponsored from the Middle East. Arab nations are pumping money into Nigeria. And they buy their ways with the 9 million for lobbying a company in America. And I thank God, God has answered my prayer. It's the secret of what is happening. And look at us, we are going for these people.
Now, when you look at this, he said something that the Nigerian government obviously he reaffirmed what I've been saying. The Nigerian government is spending this money, but he brought another angle to it that the Middle East are those also behind the sponsorship of some of the things that is happening. Remember that Sheikh Gumi and some of the northern leaders had once accused him of not showing the real things happening right in that place, that he has always misled the public. But let's see how he misleads the public. They said he has been burying empty caskets. Now, the $9 million Nigeria is paid is going to waste, because watch this. Here you will see another pastor from America who visited the area and who witnessed these burials. Tell me that these caskets that you will see now are empty. And tell me that these people will go to America and the spin doctors in Washington want to spin that these things are empty caskets. Now, it's no longer a black man telling them, but one of them are there. Just have a look.
Our brother from the international community will speak. You have seen what is going on here, and you greet our people. I'm sure you have a word or two for our people. It's time for you to speak now.
There's no word that I can tell you that will change this. There's no word that I can tell you that will take away your pain. There's nothing that I can say or do that will take away your grief. I can't change this. What I can promise you is that I would rather die standing for truth than sitting in America while my people are oppressed, while my brothers and sisters are persecuted and massacred, while the world is just watching. Other Christians are just watching. Everyone in the world knows what's happening, and they're doing nothing. They choose to just watch. And your own government is feeding off of the blood of your brothers and sisters. They're profiting off of the blood of your brothers and sisters. You have thousands of villages around Nigeria that are gone, extinct, rubble. Bones are still in the villages. In Yawara, almost 300 were killed. We're rebuilding the village in Yawara right now. Bones are still on the ground. But the governor says there's no genocide. The one who claims to be a Christian. No genocide. While people are massacred, while blood is being poured out. And so what I call to you guys.
So you can see, it takes a young man that I do not know whether he's up to 26, 27, to say certain truths that governors, those who govern a particular state. Some of us will begin to have issues when we bring party politics to this. A governor who once was saying things that could make sense, the moment he joined the APC, he appears to have left his brain stuck in his orifice. It brings to bear what one of the former chairman of the APC once said, that if you join APC, your sins are forgiven. These are his words.
Friend, and we have quite a number of other leaders who have come. Tony Ilwobe means I don't do bad. And in fact, once you have joined APC, all your sins are forgiven.
So, once you have joined the APC, all your sins are forgiven. Furthermore, what that would then mean is that once you have joined the APC, your sense of reasoning is gone. You shouldn't and you should not be expected to reason proper. Again, what is happening in the Middle Belt, the violence is often framed as header-farmer clash. But increasingly, if you ask me, it is seen by local as targeted attack by armed group, exactly what the church leader said there. And they have displaced thousands and left communities living in fear. The Tinubu's government insists it's fighting terrorists very hard. But victims and observers said that the response remains inadequate. And all of us can see that the response of the government is very, very inadequate. If you ask, and I conclude with this isn't new, but the scale and frequency demand urgent, visible action. How many people, how many more lives, how many people do we need to lose before we can see real protection for these communities in the Middle Belt and elsewhere? The contrast with the with the lobbying where we are spending money abroad, it's when you stack that together, it runs into billion in naira. But we are doing that on Washington optics. But lives, our lives, the lives of Nigerians, fellow citizens, are lost every single day. I say to those of our brothers and sisters who have lost their life in the most recent needless attack, may their souls rest in peace. Right? So, we say may their souls rest in peace. On the other hand, actually, you begin to also wonder um, in you know in the APC contraption, Wike appears to be in trouble, sort of, because something probably is going to happen, but because Tinubu is still, kind of protecting him, nothing will happen, if you ask me. If we come closer, if we leave the Middle Belt and come closer to the capital territory, you will see that youth stormed the APC national headquarters in Abuja today, chanting for President Tinubu to sack Yeson Wike as minister of the FCT. They accused him of disrespecting party leadership, and some civil society group are just echoing that the government in the FCT is failing under him. Placards read "Sack Wike now" and whatnot. So people are really calling for Wike to be sacked. I think I need to quickly find that video where people are chanting "Sack Wike." On the other hand, MC Oluomo, not Nigeria, not cruise. MC Oluomo is, on the other hand, seen going to Kaduna to inspect um, the National Union of Road Transport Worker Army, right? So let's quickly see those who are protesting that Wike should be sacked. I mean, but thank you, good evening. So you have seen it. Let me do an exercise and let me ask you, Papo Otenko, the palm wine tapper. Let me ask all of you now. Let's do an experiment here. Do you support those protesting? Let me do a poll. Do you support? Do you support Wike's sack? Let's see what Do you support Wike's sack? Right. Let's see what many of you will say. Whether you want Wike to be sacked or you want him. So the poll starts now. Do you support? So those of you watching on Facebook, if you want to be part of the poll, you should join us on YouTube. YouTube has more streaming options if you want to join on that poll. So, well, it appears many of you on this platform don't. Many of you on this platform are not happy in any way, shape, or form with Wike. You're saying double sacking. So you want him to be sacked and be sacked again and be removed again. Have a now. Only one person, not only you Waka come, right? So Wike. But on a serious note, Wike appears not to be loved so much these days. The protest is, because the more you look at it, you see that there are so many other activities that happen. Okay. So now, one other thing, let me come back to the issue of security in Nigeria, and let me show us this. One other thing that we must pay attention to is that you can see that the U.S. African Command, that is the AFRICOM, recall that General Obasanjo didn't want AFRICOM to have a base in Nigeria. But look at what AFRICOM tweeted. Lieutenant John Brennan joined senior leadership in Abuja today to launch the inaugural U.S. Nigerian Working Group. This group establishes a new framework for coordination, accountability, and joint efforts to counter terrorism and protect the vulnerable. So if you look at it, you will see the U.S. military generals in Abuja, in the city of power. The reason why these things are very, germane, that we must point these things out, is that you look at these things, then you wake up tomorrow, somebody will say, oh, it is one Igbo man that is selling screwdriver in Onitsha that has invited the Nigerian military or rather the United States military for this action. Or somebody will probably say, oh, is those in the middle belt, trying to, because at every point in time, and that's the only thing I found so sad about this current government, that at every point in time, they are trying to introduce and inject ethnicity in whatever they are trying to do in order to confuse the people. And for those who are not aware, to begin to think that, because if anything has happened in Sokoto, from the way the government had actually pushed that narrative, many people who are not clued on, many people who are not really informed, they will begin to think, oh, these things are caused by people of the southeast, and they have their, brethren, their brothers and their sisters who live in other parts of Nigeria, in those areas. So I do not understand why a government will be actively trying to incite division and tension, knowing that this could lead to loss of life and properties if it was not managed properly. And I must be glad to other Nigerians, especially Nigerians from the Middle Belt, who came out in mass to say this narrative that the Sokoto bombing was engineered by a school driver seller in Onitsha who is a friend and a brother. That is not right. And that is one thing that we must continue on this platform to state that nothing, because listen, we haven't finished with the facts that we know, talk less of them going into line and to manufacture things that are not factual on this platform. There is a reason our motto reads, exploring the truth behind the headlines, because that's what we do. It might take time, but we'll try as much as possible within our limited resources to go in and explore and ask questions, look at things that are germane, things that we believe that are the right thing to do. That's the essence of the fourth realm of the estate, is to keep digging it, keep doing the right thing. So if you look at this, you can see, like I said, the AFRICOM is now officially in Nigeria, meeting with the Nigerian military. So if by tomorrow they agree for a strike, we may have to, this time around, New York Times is what we have read. So we may have to read from another entity, right? To now say, oh, this is what is happening here, this is what is happening here. But the, the, the challenge that I find here is that whatever we think is happening in Nigeria today, we were forewarned. There were members who told us what was happening. There are people who actually spoke about it. One of them is this man you're going to watch now. He spoke about it. He talked about it. And he's not the only person. Just take a listen.
It's not about ransom. They just want to pass a message. We can come in. We can do what we need to do. And there are some hardliners in this government that are sponsoring this kind of narratives. They just want to show that they can Islamize this country. They think about Taliban. They think about the Mujahideens. And they want to replicate it in this country. And they don't care what happened. They simply don't care. As long as at the end of the day, there's Sharia and there is whatever thing they have in their head they want to achieve. So these people that are sending messages are sponsored by Nigerians. You remember this Boko Haram issue started since 2012. Yeah. And I was in the military intelligence that time. We arrested those people. It is my organization that actually conducts interrogation and interview. And they mention names. I mean, I can't come on the air and start mentioning names of people that are presently in government now that I know. Presently in government. That the boys that we arrested mentioned. Some of them are governors now. Some of them are in the Senate. Some of them are in Asurok. The intention is to Islamize Nigeria.
So if we pay attention and we understand that this revelation was during the time of Goodluck Ebere Jonathan, then you begin to question that over 10 years now, we still not have any headway. It's, I mean, if you ask me, it's a failure of government, it's a failure of, right? It's a failure of government. Is it where you have someone who says that, that even a repentant Boko Haram can actually become a president of a nation? I mean, which one would you say and leave the other?
Boko Haram stands having laid his arms and comes back, turns his way away from his negativity. He stands to be a president of this country. He stands to aspire to any position in this country. Why is he wasting his time when he cannot even deliver?
Though this particular video was taken out of context because there are people in the southeast, there are people in the Niger Delta that were involved in criminalities, just like people in the north that were involved in criminality. The message here is that irrespective of the level of crime you have committed, if you lay down your arm and come and say that you are walking away from your criminality, that you could be rehabilitated and you could amount to something, to a point of becoming a governor, a president. Of course, that's a reality. There was a time Asari Dokubo was classified as a militant, someone who carried arm against the state. Today, Asari Dokubo is now the Amainabo. That is the king of his community. If you recall, one of the diehard soldiers of the Creeks was Ateke Tom. Ateke Tom, if you recall, during the time of Yaradua, one of those who eventually surrendered on the amnesty program. Now he's King Ateke Tom. that Yeson Wike now goes in and visits him and tells him not to get involved in the business of crime. Oh no, sorry, not to get involved in the business of reverse politics. So there are people within Anambra also and the Imo State who, sadly, they were brainwashed, and in the last 4 years they've been in the bushes. But some of them, we are aware, have now also learned, surrendered and saying we are no more going to live in the bush and engage in some of the criminalities that they have. And government is, as I have advocated here, government is beginning now to rehabilitate them, and they will still come back to the community. But my argument is that rather than them to go back to the community where they were before, they should be settled. I mean, if they want to learn, some of them are learning trades, some of them are, sorry. So some of them are learning trades, some of them are engaging in one handwork or the other. The moment they finish that, they should be able to be rehabilitated in back to the community, as the military man said there. So sadly, the reason why Nigeria is taking this approach is that Nigeria does not have the what it takes to really kinetically destroy everyone who has gone against the state. Therefore, they must always find a way to get people to surrender and rehabilitate it. So for me, it's better. I mean, some of these things are too smart. So rather than basically, just because you want to kill everybody, it doesn't matter whether it's in the north, whether it's in the south, but if there is genuine rehabilitation program and genuine repentance, of course, I am of the opinion that people should be given second chance. Even if it's in prison, why people do go to prison is also to give them, a long-term rehabilitation program to eventually allow them to come back to the society. So, so thinking about this, thinking about these people, and we would understand that, as usual, it appears the things we are doing here is now becoming more serious. Understand that this is nothing but Friday Hangout, where we take national interest, things of national interest, and we put it a dose of comic here. And if I say, what better comedy is that of the one and only that the singer of all times, but the person will never release.
Of days,
as old as you are, but you're never old. This man you saw now singing, people are protesting that he should leave and that he should be sacked as Abuja minister. And what did the president do? The president, through Daniel Boala, actually issued a striking statement during Boala's interview, saying that Nigerians should know that he is not the party leader in Rivers State. So that really got people cracking. It was like, hold on. He's not the leader. Hope he's not going to go and fight the president this time around, right? If he's going to fight the president, I don't know how Bola Tinubu will defend himself. Or Bola Tinubu, how would you do if he comes to?
We reduce the purchasing power of the people. We can further slow down the economy.
Well, I don't know. Both of you, the economy you are slowing down, we don't understand what it will mean. But anyway, your people are happy with you. So if everyone is happy with you, the only thing we can say is we can probably off the mic. I mean,
that is okay. But let me explain. No, it's okay. It's okay. Let me explain. It's okay. Now. It's okay. You must not allow the two things to happen the budget.
Anyway, I cannot finish this without letting us know about the Nigerian United States security meeting cooperation that is that was done as a result of the concerns of the people regarding freedom of religious practices in Nigeria, right? And in the first one, so in these meeting, I found it. The reason why I keep showing some of these things is that we keep tab because I have come to know Nigeria now as a place where if you do not keep these tabs, suddenly you may wake up tomorrow and know that the things that you had last night is being blamed on someone else. Whereas the real decision maker is somewhere else and no one is talking about that person. Just have a listen.
Shared commitment on the table. Issues on the table. This bilateral engagement reflects not only our shared commitment to religious freedom and the protection of civilian population, but it is also a mature and strategic relationship that is grounded in trust and also in shared responsibility, especially between our two nations. The partnership has been useful, with the US and Nigeria cooperating militarily, but also in intelligence sharing and in general security. And I want to state here that indeed this cooperation has translated into very tangible operational gains. It has enhanced our intelligence sharing. It has also brought about closer coordination between the United States of America, AFRICOM, and Nigeria's military. Of course, this is across all sectors, as you have heard from the National Security Advisor. On the Nigerian part, we are all aware that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria has since formally declared a state of national security emergencies in more vulnerable and also in high-risk areas. And in the process, he has authorized and asked that there should be an intensified joint operations between all the security agencies and our armed forces. And the president has also directed that this be sustained by the deployment of additional security forces to priority areas to curb this violence. Very important for Nigeria. We want to state that this relationship is also helping in strengthening early warning and also developing a national database to provide a single authoritative source of accurate and verifiable figures on deaths and casualties arising from violence.
Anyway,
what we are having here today is the first joint working group of the United States and Nigeria on how to address the challenges of mass killing and adoption of innocent civilians in our vulnerable communities. So thank you.
Thank you. As you have heard
Of
from
course,
the IG, the police will also
both the
benefit
defense
from,
and the police are going
yes,
to benefit
everybody,
from
all
this
parts of our
partnership.
security agencies.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's leave the matters concerning security and let's come to Abia State. Let's come to Abia State. People say that Alex Otti is being hyped. Well, now I get in the mouth, now not talking. But data tells a different story. Data tells a different story. Let me see if I can what I can do here. Data tells a different story. Okay. So the data you're looking at here, for instance, where is it again? Hold on. The data you're looking at here clearly shows one thing. You can read here that earlier today, Abia State rises from 18th position to number 4th position in the 2025 sustainability ranking under Otti, emerging as one of the Nigerian most physical sustainable states. So physical sustainable, physical discipline, not people, a lot of people know about that. You can see that. Now, someone is saying, do you know that only two of Nigerian governors are known to have graduated with first class honors, Alex Otti of Ever State and Professor Charles Soludo? Well, all we want to know is that let that actually be a thing that can project the state. Now, people are showcasing the smart school, but when I look at the roof of this smart school, to be honest with you, aside from Enugu, I mean, my own is to be objective. Aside from Enugu State, I haven't seen another state that's really have built a more comprehensive smart school. But Alex is trying. This is a smart school in Abia State. Now, come to the point where the number 6 number 6 citizen of the state spoke again. Somebody wrote me, say, Mazi, go and tell your friend to off the mic sometimes. But just listen.
Why was I asking the governor? I was asking him, not asking him anymore. Let it be clear. I was asking the governor to join APC because he was one of us. He was one of us. He was one of those that strengthened this party in this state.
Anyway, the number 6 citizen is not wrong here. Alex Otti was one of them. Otti was once in APC. So when people talk about sometimes the APC as if it's such a demonic place to be, I will say to you, it doesn't make any difference if Alex Otti is in Labour Party. It doesn't make any difference if Alex Otti joins ADC. Neither does it make any difference if he joins APC. For example, if Alex Otti is in APC, he will win the re-election. If he's in PDP, he will still win the re-election. If he's in ADC or Labour Party, he will still win the re-election. Now, if he's in these 4 parties and Peter Obi is the presidential candidate, irrespective of whichever party Alex Otti is, Peter Obi will still win Abia State hands down. Forget all these political hallelujah boys. There's absolutely nothing they can do about it. They can read, but you know that even when we do not want to accept it, Nigerian election, through the use of technology, has consistently improved. We understand, I was in the field in the last election. Yes, there was a glitch. But beyond that, if you look at the gubernatorial and you look at the senatorial, you can see the senatorial, the House of Reps, the will that reflected actually the will of the people, because you can see that many that went to court were, people that went to court were very fewer than before. On the screen here, you can see what Alex Otti is painting. I have been on the down part, which is about Port Harcourt Road, not Port Harcourt Expressway. This was Port Harcourt Expressway. Look at the top here. If you look at where the after and before, you can see that building there. So you can see that building. You can see on the left these small buildings with zinc, where the mouse is hovering here. This is how this place was. Ipo Doti, just dustbin. And these guys will open their mouth and say that this governor is painting Abia State like this. Please, unless you are not human, I will say paint on, paint on, paint on, just like what is happening in Anambra State. You must not be an APGA member or an APGA supporter to acknowledge some of the things that the governor of the state is also doing. Saying it doesn't mean, you are not supporting X or B. Abia State, for instance, this is the APSU, that is Abia State University Hostel. Recall that Alex Otti visited this hostel sometime and said he was going to do something and fix it and, rebuild it. And it's not only done that, but you can see that at night, it's not longer pitch black as usual.
And there is nothing Juju can do. His blood speaks better things than that of Abe. We stand gallant because our senior man is Abe. He who speaks to mountains and they move. And to dead dreams, he says, Talisa. We ask for mercy, but on top Calvary, merciful. He who is merciful and good. This is a testament that Jehovah is always good. I've tasted and I've seen, and my belly has become full. This is proof that the fountain of life is the giver of life. This is why we thirst and drink. God is good.
So it will be very hard for those in Abia State, for anyone to convince them that their governor is not doing the right thing. Because there are generations, there are people born and they've passed through this university in the last 10, 20 years, and they have not seen this university in this state. How do you then tell them that the governor that has given them this? I mean, I acknowledge that some of you who are in the Western world will say, is this what people are coming? No, but you need to put in context where these people are coming from. Of course, if you want to place these things side by side with international standard, they don't measure up. They don't even measure up 10 or 20%. But if you put it in context, that as we say in Nigerian street parlance, half bread is better than granite. If you put it in that context, you see, well, comparatively to other people who are governors, other people who are in other states, that comparatively he appears, to be doing much, so much that he can do. So if you understand that, we will now say, Governor Alex Otti, paint on, paint on, paint on. Wike si na enye ndị ebe a onye ndị ebe a onye ọ na-ewe iwe ya biko wee gbuo ya ngọngọ. Onye ọ na-ewe iwe ya biko wee gbuo ya ngọngọ. Ọsụkọsụ nwakpi ya biko sụtụkwana ya ngọngọ. Igi inye onindebe inye ondebe inye ondebe. Inye ondebe inye ondebe. The guy just doing own thing. No matter what, honestly, he is trying. And there is something else. I don't know if many of you have seen it. There is something else that he has. I believe he copied this from Enugu, and that's the type of, thing that I want governors to be doing. I don't want to. The one they built in my state of Anambra, the bus terminal is not bus terminal, But here, I believe he copied this from Enugu. This is a bus terminal. This is a bus terminal, and this is Abia State. Just watch. So, when you look at this, you would understand that the next visit that I would do to Abia, these are places I would want to go to. And I know many of you are requesting an update visit from Enugu, and I'm arranging that by God's grace before their third year in office, which is by 29th of March, 29th of May, 2026. I may have found time to do another visit, and I may also have found time to go to Okpoko. I don't know why only 3 states always come to mind when it comes to Southeast, because part of the dedication here is also to use project tour and project visitations as a means of holding our elected officials to account and holding them accountable. For some reason, if you're watching me and from Ebonyi State and you are close to your governor, I would want them to show my team around the things they are building. Ebonyi is the only place that I do not know what they are building. I do not see what they are doing, but I would want them to show us around what they are doing. Imo State, I don't need anybody to show me around. Whenever I come to Imo State, I can move around the same way I move around in Umuahia, and the same way I move around in Aba, Umuahia, Enugu, and go to places that people know, the water scheme and whatnot. But the challenge I do have in Ebonyi is that I do not know Ebonyi much. So when the former governor of Ebonyi is there, whenever I come with my team to Ebonyi, you can always know where you're going to, because there were landmark projects if you're going to the airport, if you're going to the economical center, or if you're going to the shopping mall, or if you're going to the new market, But now, when I ask people in Ebonyi, what is the new governor building? Sadly, sorry, but when I say this, I mean, sadly. And I have even gone to the governor himself. I sent him messages. I mean, I have his contact, and I, communicated with him a couple of times. But whenever I tell him that I want to, I want to come with my team to Ebonyi State, can he arrange that someone? It mustn't be him. I don't need to. Can someone please show us around? If these people are clued on, that's something you should embrace. That the international platform is coming to you and saying, "Come on, let's show what we are doing here. You're not paying for it. It's just that we want to see, to tell the people, because we believe in telling the real story, not stories that are not real. We want to come and show people what we have seen, and for people to actually understand what is happening in their own state. So if we understand it, then it's going to be better for us. But I wish they do listen to us. Now, to conclude with this, I would once more play us this small document, not from us, but it's germane to this case, so that you guys would understand when they say that Alex Otti is painting, you understand the essence of what he's painting. Just take a listen.
Our heroic people of our state, a people who endured 24 long years of oppression under governments that claimed to be democratic, showed resilience in the face of neglect, surviving among refuse and filth, living through years of human degradation and the collapse of basic dignity. You bore the weight of leadership failure, the absence of vision, compassion, and progress. For years, I shouted, I wrote, I pleaded, urging our leadership class to embrace innovation, kindness, and conscience in the management of our society. I warned that a government without mercy becomes a curse upon its own people. I wrote to those who mattered, to those who sat in the circles of privilege, men and women who turned themselves into overnight gods through political power. They chose to dwell in luxury hotels while the ordinary people perished in poverty. They sat comfortably over our collective wealth, indifferent to the broken roads, the flooded streets, and the crumbling homes. They slowed our march towards civilization, preferring the sweet scent of corruption to the labor of reform. They strangled hope, yet pretended to govern. But today, the chicken has come home to roast. The era of deceit is over. The people have found their voice. The same men and women who once mocked our cries now tremble before the conscience of a new government that is trying to restore dignity to our land. They hallucinate against progress because they fear accountability. They fight light because they thrived in darkness. Let it be known, the people of Abia will no longer be deceived. Who have seen both the oppressor and the liberator. We know those who fed on our commonwealth and those now striving to rebuild. No amount of propaganda, blackmail or false narrative will change the truth that the time of oppression is gone and a new dawn has come for our state. The wounds of the past and the promise of today. They ruled Abia like a conquered land, a place meant for exploitation, not development. For 24 years, our state budget was treated like a private wallet. Basic infrastructure disappeared into thin air. Roads that connected our local governments became death traps. Civil servants were turned into beggars, pensioners into forgotten souls. The hospitals, those that still stood, became museums of sorrow. Teachers worked for months and without pay, yet the children they taught were expected to compete in a world powered by knowledge. Refuse dams grew into mountains, breeding disease and shame at the heart of our cities. The smell of decay became the perfume of governance. Yet, in the midst of this wreckage, they called themselves Democrats. They built mansions in foreign lands, while our villages lacked boreholes. They bought luxury cars with money meant for rural electrification. They sent their children to foreign universities, while our own institutions rotted from abandonment. That was their democracy, a democracy of the few by the few for the few. But today, the narrative is changing. The current government, despite inheriting ruins, had shown a clear direction. Roads once forgotten are being rebuilt. Payment systems are being sanitized. Workers' dignity is gradually being restored. The streets are cleaner, the sense of order returning. It is not perfection yet, but it is a progress, and progress terrifies those who fed on the care. That is why they attack, that is why they fight every sign of sanity. They know that if this light continues to shine, their era of darkness will never return. They know that once the people fully taste good governance, the seat will no longer sell in the marketplace of politics. Let them hear this truth. The people of Abia are no longer asleep. They can no longer be lured into chains decorated with party flags. They have suffered enough to recognize their liberators. A call to conscience and courage. Let every power that has oppressed our people hear this. Abia will never go back. The days when politics was a business of predators are gone. The days when a few men decided the destiny of millions are buried in the tomb of history. We are now a people awakened by truth, united by suffering, and strengthened by hope. We have seen the face of false leadership, and we have seen the hands of honest service, and we know the difference. To those who governed us into poverty and now seek to rewrite history, I say, you cannot deceive the people twice. You can no longer harvest where you did not plant. Your seasons of manipulation have expired. Abia has entered a new covenant, a covenant of conscience, of equity, of justice, and of good governance. The new administration may not be perfect, but it carries the breath of sincerity, and that is more precious than years of decorated failure. So, let the old order rage. Let them sponsor lies, invent scandals, and twist the truth. Their noise cannot drown the sound of progress. Their bitterness cannot corrupt the sweetness of renewal. For the spirit of Abia has risen from the dust of the seat, from the ruins of oppression, from the silence of the forgotten, and no power, no propaganda, no alliance of the corrupt shall bury this rebirth. To the people of Abia I say, Hold fast to this new light. Defend it with your voice, your vote, and your vigilance. For when a people guard their freedom with truth, no tyranny can return. Abia shall rise again, not as a slogan, but a living testimony that no people can be enslaved forever. This commentary was written by Honorable James Ochunko, a conscious writer, former executive chairman, Abano Local Government Area, 1997, and former chairman, Enyimba FC, Aba.
So you have seen it. That is what the man is painting. This is not hyping him, but comparatively, again, if you just oppose what has been done in Abia or in any state in Nigeria to an international standard, we are not measuring up. But hey, if we stay within the Nigerian context, if we stay within the context of those that have governed Abia, Aba before now, Alex Otti is way, 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 way ahead of them. On this note, I say good night. May God